Hey, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jason? It's good to
I'm
see
doing
you.
very well. Good to see you again, too. I'm glad you could join us today. I see we've got some people still sort of filling into the room, so why don't we give them a couple of minutes to let everybody get situated, get their popcorn ready, get ready for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And we picked a good day. It's not a boring day so far.
No, not a boring day in the markets, not a boring day, not a boring day. It's election day here, too.
Yeah.
Definitely not a boring day out there for that either.
What state are you in?
I'm in West Virginia. I don't think we're voting for anything today. But and when we do, I can pretty much guess how we're going to vote out here. Oops.
M-
Sounds like I got
My
my dog sees somebody outside right now. I apologize for that, guys. I'm working from my home office.
my grandfather taught at West Virginia.
Really, like West Virginia University.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Up in Morgantown. My best
Yep.
friend, Ricardo, his little sister, Annalise, went there. She graduated a couple years ago.
Gotta love the Mountaineers. So yeah, he was heavily involved in coal. So he taught the coal engineering, all the engineering stuff for their mining in the mining school that they have there. So he's
Okay,
actually got a couple of patents for converting coal into liquid fuel, which is
really cool.
Yeah. So yep. He pretty interesting guy. Born in Hungary. Emigrated here when his dad was the mayor of the third largest town in Hungary, and they were murdered by the Bolsheviks. And so his dad and his brother were murdered. He escaped to here and went to Carnegie Mellon and through their doctoral program, and then ended up being a professor. But yeah, pretty interesting story.
Wow, yeah, that is quite the story. I'm glad he made it out.
Well, me too.
I'm sure you are.
I'm me more than you. I guarantee it.
I bet. Wow. That's a really cool story. Yeah, we definitely love our coal here in West Virginia. When I moved here a few years ago, I was really surprised to find out something like 80% of the power in West Virginia is still generated by burning coal. I think the other 20% is like hydropower. We've got a lot of rivers and a lot of valleys that we can flood. So there's a lot of hydropower here too.
Yeah, you got the Ohio River going through part of West Virginia, right? And
right, the Ohio River. Then right here where I am, we're bordered by the Shenandoah and the Potomac. So definitely a lot of power going through there. A lot of muscle in those rivers.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Very, very cool. That's interesting. I love those little small world connections there.
Yeah.
West Virginia is not a huge state, so it's really interesting that we both got that connection here.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing how the whole 6 degrees of separation is such a true story, is such a true thing.
Oh, very true. Especially in like the industry we're in, there's not a ton of investment banks and brokerage firms out there, and not a ton of companies making markets. So it's kind of cool. We've probably worked with people together in the past when I was at Morgan and you were doing market making at the CBOE and Amex.
I'll bet you.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Definitely pretty cool. Well, hey, I think, we've got a few people in the room. Looks like we've got a good group here, and we've given everybody a good chance to get in. So what do you say we go ahead and get started and give everybody what they're waiting for?
Yeah, let's dig in.
All right. All right. Sounds good. So guys, you all probably already know me pretty well. Jason Williams here, AKA Dubs. I got my start working in investment banking at Morgan Stanley. And then made the transition over here to the newsletter world because really I kind of got tired of helping people who already had enough money make more money. And, I like to help folks who are actually in need of my help. My parents, my dad was a pharmacologist, my mom's a priest, my sister helps design, workspaces that are better for the people who are working in them. So me making money for already wealthy people on Wall Street didn't really jive, with my family's calling there. And this lines up a lot better. I definitely sleep better at night. I enjoy it more. I like being able to introduce people to strategies that can help them, make money, beat the people that I used to work with on Wall Street. And that's exactly what we're doing sort of with this series here. Everybody out there watching, that I don't do live stuff very often. I like to have scripts. I have a great studio and a wonderful production team, and they make my videos look really professional and great. But when we get a really good opportunity, sometimes there's not quite enough time to wait for that. And I really want to get it out there to you guys. And that's what this series is all about. And when I got to meet Mark and I got to see the system that he's built, it was one of those things that just has to be shared immediately. So, in our little warm up there, I kind of covered a little bit of what Mark had done. He has a degree in finance like me, and immediately went out and started working, on the CBOE, the Chicago Board Options Exchange. Became a market maker there and on the Amex with a couple of different firms. And eventually sort of followed the same path that I did, leaving Wall Street behind to help Main Street catch up. And over the past, I want to say year or so, he's been really, really knuckled down, working on developing a new product, a new service that basically uses the power of AI to help track good opportunities in the stock market. This one is looking into stocks that are potential short squeeze candidates. So I know that there are probably a few people out there wondering, what the heck do you mean when you say short squeeze? So we're definitely going to talk about that some today. I'm sure most of you have heard of short squeezes with companies like AMC and, GameStop.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've been to one of those stores. So it was tough for me to remember the name there. But
they have video games. You will find yourself. They situated the GameStop near me, directly across from the Cheesecake Factory. Just perfect for pulling in, tweens and kids, because, my kids want to go to Cheesecake Factory for their birthday, and then while we're waiting for the food, they go across the hall to the GameStop. So it's perfectly well situated.
That is a great place for it. But, that's definitely one of those short squeezes that people are really familiar with. But that's sort of that retail driven short squeeze. And that's not really what we're talking about. But we'll get more into that in a little bit too. But I guess before we really get into everything, I have to make the lawyers happy and go over our disclaimer here, which if we can put that up on the screen. Everybody read it very closely. There's going to be a test on it at the end.
Yeah. Justin, can you share the screen here?
Yes. There we go. No, I'm kidding about the test on the end. And you guys have all probably seen something like this before, but basically, the materials we're presenting here, they're informational, they're educational. We're not offering investment advice. Angel Publishing, the company that I work with, we are not, we're not licensed to give individual financial advice. So we're not giving individual financial advice. We're not responsible for any of your losses, but we will take credit for all of your gains. So keep that in mind. But really, basically, the deal is that like we're all adults here. We all are making our own decisions, and that's sort of why we're here. Is because we wanted to take control of our finances. And take them away from the folks on Wall Street, the money managers who really are just trying to get themselves commissions, and put the power in our own hands. And so that's sort of what we're saying here is that we're all making our own decisions. We're going to present you with some informational, educational information here, and it is up to you to do with that as you will.
Absolutely.
And so with that out of the way, I think the lawyers are happy. So why don't we go ahead and start talking about these short squeezes, because as you can see on your screen, the power of these short squeezes has quintupled. Mark's track record is really impressive. I got to see it. I got to see it a few days ago, and wow, very impressive. And that's really why we started sending out emails and trying to get you guys here so that you could hear what he has to say and see what he's developed. So, Mark, why don't you go ahead and take it away and tell us a little bit about your system, and I'll play the everyman and ask some questions and see if I can poke some holes in it.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about how the power of short squeezes just quintupled. And this is a custom AI alert short squeezes that aimed at stocks under 20 before they develop. Again, there's your disclosure. So the question for everyone today is, what do you think when you hear short squeeze? What do you guys think of when you hear short squeeze? Now, many of you are going to say these two names, GameStop and AMC. Maybe Beyond Meat if you were paying attention a couple of weeks ago. But
definitely.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They're fun, they're cool. But if you talk to a lot of people that traded these, some people made money, but a lot of people didn't. They were late to the party. And these don't happen very often. Maybe, GameStop and AMC was 5 years ago. And in between then, we've had maybe one more push on GameStop and Beyond Meat. Name a few others that you've seen from Reddit. You probably can't. And, you'll see this stuff on Reddit, and most of the time it's pump and dump, or, somebody's already long and they're talking up their position. Heck, I mean, at least Roaring Kitty at least admits this, but when he goes out and says, I think you should go long GameStop, he's already bought a ton of the stock and a ton of calls. So you can scour Wall Street bets and look for these and know that 90% of them are going to be a scam. And maybe you'll find one or two a year that actually pan out. These are not what I'm trying to trade. What I'm trying to trade are not short squeezes developed by Reddit. I believe in what I call CRT. I want my systems, my trades to be consistently profitable, repeatable, and teachable. And that is the foundation of what you're about to see here. So what if I did tell you that there are types of short squeezes that happen almost every day? It may not see a GameStop level run from 12 to 120, but in the last 6 months, it's caught ASST, Strive Inc. going from 440 to 1260. Loan Depot going from 336 to 502. EQ 170 to 233. Plug 140 to 185. Sarepta Pharmaceuticals going from 11 to 1850. Sunrun going from 7 to 1340. These aren't like, wow, eye-catching moves. They're under the radar, but these are the types of moves that we're actually hunting for.
Not just under the radar, but those are definitely some stocks that a lot of people aren't paying attention to. I mean, Plug Power is probably one that has a pretty good following, but most of those tickers, I bet this is the first time a lot of folks have seen those.
At Loan Depot, EQ, yeah, no. I mean, Sunrun, ASST, Strive. I mean, I'd never heard of almost any. I'd heard of Plug from trading in 2020, but outside of that one, I'd never really heard of any of these. Maybe Sunrun. And last week or 2 weeks ago, Beyond Meat. This was a Reddit squeeze, but it was also mechanical. And the AI engine that we built did catch it, saying to buy the October 24th 1.5 calls. Now, the name of my company is Option Pit, not Stock Pit. So I am an option trader. I was a market maker in options on the American Stock Exchange's CBOE. But at the time of this alert, Beyond Meat was 79 cents. You definitely could have just bought the stock, and you'll see what you would have made and how you would have done with this. But, let me introduce myself a little bit more. As Jason said, I graduated from Villanova. We got beat by BYU last night, disappointingly, in Las Vegas against, what essentially was an away game, but they put up a good fight. So I was, when I graduated, I moved to New York. I was a market maker on the American Stock Exchange for a couple of years, but I'm from Chicago. I wanted to move home, move back, went and worked on the floor of the SPX, worked in the SPX, the Dow Jones, and a bunch of individual equity options. My best trade ever took place in the General Motors pit. So this was General Motors before it went bankrupt back in 2008, not after. And it was in a stock called Novastar Financial. And this stock squeezed, and I was ready for it, and I got lucky. So a lot of people maybe don't know this, but when you're a market maker, you don't get to just trade whatever you want on the floor. It doesn't work that way. You are assigned a pit, and your pit has maybe 50 stocks. Now, I lucked into the fact that Novastar was in my pit, and I was smart enough to kind of see the squeeze happening and put on a spectacular trade, biggest trade I've ever done in my life. And it ended up being by far the most profitable trade of my life. I made, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was north of 7 figures.
Wow. That is a very profitable trade.
It was very, very profitable. And what I've done over the last years, I've spent thousands of dollars building an AI scanner to find moves like what happened to me in 2006 in Novastar Financial. Now, are we going to make $1 million in every trade? No, we will not. But if I had had this technology back then, I would have left the floor, I would have gone upstairs, and I would have just traded it. I would have set up an upstairs desk and just traded it. But now I've got it, and I'm excited to kind of walk you through what it is. So the short squeeze AI that we've built, it anticipates when a short squeeze is going to happen. It uses triple confirmation for every trade so that we know the trade is real. And then this is the part I really like. You don't have to guess at what option to buy. It actually tells you the exact option to buy for 100% target. And we've got 70% real money average return on these trades. We do have losses, but we've averaged 70% real money average return.
I'll be honest with you. Nobody likes to take losses, but I do like to see losses in a track record. It makes it a little bit more realistic because nobody wins every time,
Right. Well, when we're developing a system, we use real money. These are not back tests. This is not some phony baloney pie in the sky. I trade it, right? That's where CRT comes from. Before I can show it to you, I have to show to my team that I can make money in it. Okay. And frankly, I trade all my own money in every strategy I run. And so I want to make myself money. I want to make you money, but I like that we're aligned and that I'm trying to make money for myself while I try to make you money for yourself.
I like that. That's a big difference too. A lot of these systems, especially trading systems, are mostly back tested.
Yeah.
And hey, if you had done these things over the past 20 years, it would have worked out really well. But we didn't actually do them. But so I like to see that not only if you did these things, you would have done really well, and we did them, and here's the proof.
Yeah. So I'll use back tests before I start trading real money. But when I bring a strategy and we show a track record, it is all my own dollars that went into it. 100% of the time.
I like that confidence. You gotta have confidence in your system.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I'm not making myself money, why am I going to go and talk to people that and sell them on something that I'm not trading for myself? It's just counterintuitive to me.
Yep. No, definitely. I only like to share things with folks here that, I would use myself. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that you would use it yourself too. That definitely, that means even more than me using it myself, I think, since you designed it.
Yeah. So this is a real screenshot of our AI engine, and you can see what Beyond Meat looked like. Here's Beyond Meat right here. It's got the track record, and here is the trade that it pitched, that it issued. Active 1102. You want to buy the Beyond Meat 1.5 call, 1.5 call for the best price. October 14th. There's Beyond Meat. There it is.
That's great.
So
I love that it shows you the actual option. There's no guesswork there.
No, there is not. That's one of the things that I love, and we're going to talk about how that got developed here in a second. But that was the biggest short squeeze of the week, and let me walk through how it worked on October 14th. The Beyond Meat $1.5 calls were 7 cents. If you bought the stock, you would have paid 79 cents for stock for my friends that only like to trade stocks. Then, not yesterday, but by the 22nd, Beyond Meat was $3.68. Those $1.5 calls, they trade up to $3.
That's a pretty big move.
That is a 4,186% return. Now, I'll be honest. I would have taken money at a quarter. I would have sold some at 50 cents. I would have sold some at $1 and $2. I would leave one for a flyer, right? I mean, let's be realistic here. I'm not getting 4,186%, but I would have made a ton of money on this.
Oh, definitely. And that sort of goes back to what you and I were talking about earlier today, before everything got started with my long-term NVIDIA position. Mm-hmm. And your advice to, once it goes up 1,000%, sell 15%.
Yeah. It's just an idea. Start taking some money.
That's a good idea. You got to, the only way that you can know that your profits are secured is if they're in your bank account.
Cash is a position.
It is.
Now, on October 22nd, Beyond Meat got to $6.33. Those calls traded $4.75. Your stock position would be up over 500%, and your calls would be up a preposterous 6,786%. But that is really where they would have gone.
That's impressive. I think what I really like about that is seeing on that chart, there's a few days there. This isn't like one of those trades where you had to be in at, 10:15 in the morning, and then you were out by 11:45 in the morning, or out by 12:30 in the afternoon. This is You had a few days. If you missed that first alert, you could have logged in, seen it, seen where prices were, seen where the stock was, seen where the options were, and gotten yourself in, even though you were a little bit late to the trade.
Yeah, heck, you got it on the 16th. You probably would have been paying 2 cents, and you would have been paying 50 cents for the stock. Yeah, but the whole time on this is typically going to be somewhere between 3 days and 2 weeks. So, but that is the power of the short squeeze AI that we've built. Here's another one, LAES, Seal SQ. Never heard of it. It is a Dutch semiconductor company. Didn't know the Dutch did semiconductors, but the Dutch do semiconductors, folks. And LAES, you can see Beyond Meat was on there. This is from October 7th, LAES. October, 5 calls for the best price. And again, a real money trade. In at 20, out at 55. 175%, but I wasn't done. Flyer position. Bought more. I bought the October 24th 6.5 call for 45 cents. I ended up paying 38. out at $1.25. It's another 229%. I wasn't done yet. Buy more of the LES October 24th. 9 calls now for less than 45 cents. In at 45, out at $1.10, 120%. Wrote it all the way up.
That's
It was
great.
great set of trades.
That really is. What do you 3 triple-digit gains on one stock within the course of a week?
Mm-hmm.
Not bad at all.
It was really fun. It was
I bet
really
it was.
fun.
I bet
So,
it was.
If you put $1,000 in each of these trades, you would have made $5,239.50. Now, you'll notice I said use a 10% allocation on the rest. Even with that in mind, you would have made $2,098.95. $2,100. Just 3 trades.
Not bad at all.
So, and this is the question people often have. What is a short squeeze? What happened to LES that made it go from 450 to almost 9 in a couple of days?
Right? That's the important information right there.
Yeah. So what makes a short squeeze? I'm not going to don't worry, there won't be a test on this. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but too many institutional traders bet a stock will go down. That's called shorting. Markets get overweight. So there's not enough there's not enough stock to go around against all these bets. So traders are forced to buy to cover the stocks they're shorting. The stock shoots higher. Those traders lose money. Other shorts have to buy. People buy the stock to hedge. Next thing you know, it's exploding higher.
So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, these stocks are overly shorted. There's too many people betting against them. Once they take, that first move up, somebody's got to close out their short position. Somebody closes out their short position by buying the stock. That sends more buying pressure towards the stock, which means more people have to close out their short position until you finally get to those big guys that are getting, $1 million margin calls. And they're like, yeah, we got to close our position. We could eat a $500,000 margin call, but $1 million, we got to buy this. Exactly. And so it sort of just keeps pushing itself higher and higher and higher.
They get greedy. They get overly greedy. They don't take their money when they've already won is typically what happens. And, so what I'd like to do is just walk through my Tripwire system. I'm going to explain how the AI scanner uses to locate these short squeezes. Now, number one, this is Tripwire 1. It's put demand. Now, put is, for those of you not familiar with options, a put is a way of using an option to short a stock. And Tripwire 1 is looking for an unusual and out of whack put demand. And so I'm looking for a number above 7% on that. When we reach 7%, that's telling me that a mechanical short squeeze could be starting. Tripwire 2, and this is an important one, this tells me that the action in the options is starting to make its way into the stock itself. So once the scales have tipped toward puts and people are really heavily shorting puts, we'll start to see it actually start to affect the stock price. That green arrow tells us the stock price is starting to really move a lot more than it has historically. So I want a green arrow in Tripwire 2. And Tripwire 3 is the frequency. And it tells me how many times Tripwire 1 and 2 have hit. It answers, is the short squeeze picking up speed? Okay. So I want at least an integer of 3 in that Tripwire. So 1 needs to trip, 2 needs to trip, and then 3 needs to trip. And then you'll get an audio alert that'll actually tell you, hey, there's a trade. Okay. So it's hilarious. I'll be in the other room. I've got the AI engine open. I'll be in the other room making myself a sandwich, and I hear this. And I don't know if everybody could hear that, but I'll hear the ding, and I'm like, oh, I got to go run to my desk. and it's really fun, though. So and that sound is like almost like a cash register ringing for me when I hear it. It's just so
You're like Pavlov's dog there.
I am.
But so
So
that third tripwire, that's sort of the make or break one, right? You can
right.
have the first two go off, but if that third one doesn't hit a 3+, it's not a trade.
There will not be a trade. It'll be one that I'm paying attention to, that I'm watching,
Uh-huh.
but there will not be a trade unless all three trip. So
Gotcha.
here,
Okay.
yeah, here is ASST. And you can see it told us to buy the 7 calls for the best price. This was on, I forget the date, but it was the September 19th calls. So it was in September.
Mm-hmm.
And, take a look at what happened here. We got into these calls for 35 cents. They went to 5.50.
Wow. That was a big gap up there. And
Yeah.
again,
And
you alerted a few days before it looks like that big gap up really happened.
yeah. And that's the beautiful thing with some of these squeezes, it will gap directly into a squeeze. And so you're not watching the stock go up saying, should I sell? Should I sell? Literally the market will just open up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm up 1,000% on these. I got to sell these.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Here's another one. This was run.
Okay. And that's great. So it gives you, the ticker symbol, where the stock's currently trading, what price option to buy. Are we buying the $7, the $5, the $1.50, and what date? What expiration, the option expiration there, since everybody's got weekly options now. And I feel like some people a lot of them had daily options these days, practically.
Yeah, I mean, yes, daily options are great, but yeah. So run, and it uses the weeklies, it uses monthlies, it goes for what is the best trade. And I'm going to talk about how it develops the trade here in a second. But this is one from back in May when I was running this with live money in our testing environment. And on the 9th, I bought Sunrun calls for 60 cents. 4 days later, they trade 202. I'm out with a 237% gain. That's $2,367 if I put $1,000 into that trade. Here's Plug. This was a fun one on July 2nd. Happy birthday to me. I bought Plug calls for 10 cents. Again, real money. And then 7 days later, the Plug popped and I'm out of them at 30 cents. Simple, easy, 200% gain. $1,000 turns into $2,000 in my pocket. And here's our track record over the last 45 days. And you can see we've done pretty darn well. I actually still own some of Pac B. I still own some of this LAES trade. And I still own some Lunar. And this is and APLT. So these are gains that we've got, and I'm still locked in. Plus, I have upside on these.
And these are your gains with the options trades, but
yes.
as you said earlier, that stocks are also an option. The folks that don't feel comfortable trading the options, that you can also pick up the shares of the stocks. I mean, Beyond Meat was practically trading at the price of most options when the system alerted to that, 79 cents.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have a 158 and 230% return, but you'll have some really nice winners. You really will.
Yeah.
Pac B, we're going from $1.80 up to $2.30. That's a nice win.
That is.
And you can do that with the stock. And then here's our all-time track record. 75% win rate, 57% average return per trade. $1,000 would be $20,841. $100 in each trade would be $2,084. The average cost per trade is $80.
Okay, so you actually could put $100 into each trade. It's not like we're talking about half options when you get down to $100.
No, I mean if you look through all these trades, the most expensive call option I bought was an for $1.30. LAC was a stock trade. A couple of these were stock trades, but yeah, the most expensive call option I bought was $1.30. So
$130 to get one of those, you know. So
Yeah.
and you can go up 10 times and just be hitting that 1,000.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things we do, not most short squeeze, the most shorted stocks are shorted because they're not good companies,
Mhm.
right? You and I worked on desks. We'd see these stocks and we'd be like, this thing is just hot garbage. Who's buying this? And then you look around at your buddy, he's like, I don't know, but I'm shorting it, right?
Uh-huh.
But every now and again, there are stocks that are really hated that are actually worth some love. And we run what I kind of call my trash to treasure program, where we're going to pick up stocks under $10 that we think can return 100 or 200%.
Okay.
LAC was a really good example. We paid $2.85 for the stock, sold it at $6.85. AREC, I still own some of this. Bought it for $2, sold it at $4.05. ONDS $5.80, sold it at $9.10. So there is some long-term buys in this. We when we find a stock that is way too cheap and we think has huge upside, we buy it. And these are some bonuses that we buy. These when you join. All these three were under $10, so inexpensive to play.
I like it. And you know, those lithium stocks are probably some of the least loved stocks on the market right now. So I bet there's a good number of them that you are being shorted like they're hot garbage, but they've got some stuff behind them there.
Yeah, a stock I am looking to buy with the actual stock in the next day or two is USAR.
Okay.
I already own
USA
AREC.
Rare Earths, yeah.
Yeah, USA Rare Earth. Now we happen to have working at Option Pit the investment banker their first investment banker that actually helped them go public.
Okay.
So I don't have insider knowledge, but I do know the people that are running that company. And I like that as an investment. Full disclosure, I own some already.
It's a good company, and I always tell folks that, you're not just investing in a stock, you're investing in the team behind it,
Yeah.
So knowing the people behind it definitely helps you have a little bit more confidence in the company.
Yeah. And so they've got the magnet factory up and running, and it's just whether they can get that mining operation moving. AREC is an interesting one as well. If that gets below $3, I'm going to be buying more. I am completely out of LAC. So up to this point, we've discussed mechanical short squeezes under $20 are common. They happen all the time. Most people don't know them, don't trade them because they don't know they're there and they don't know how to find them. My AI engine, Alpha AI, anticipates mechanical short squeezes. It targets triple-digit wins. It recommends the best option to buy. It has registered, well, in my back test, it was in my live test, it registered one loss and was at an average 93%. That's changed a little bit with all the live trading. And the average costs around 80 cents. So you have a couple choices here. I'll let you guys choose. You can surf Reddit news for the next short squeeze, or you cannot trade short squeezes at all. I would invite you to not choose that option. Or you can commit to implement Alpha AI as part of your personal advance notice to anticipate and trade short squeezes. And that's where Alpha AI comes in. You're going to get direct access to Alpha AI. It's set up as a tab in your web browser. Just sit there, you run it. Like I said, you go in the other room, make a sandwich. When you hear the ding, come down to your office and
drop the mayonnaise.
And yeah, drop the mayonnaise and run to your computer. It's averaging a 70% profit per trade, and typically 2 to 3, maybe 4 to 5 short squeezes a week, and it's the exact same tool that I use. The audio dings, and I put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this project, but I've made it affordable for you guys because we've kind of custom designed the data, right? Data is the really, really expensive part. The man hours, those are done, but the data is the really expensive part. And I've arranged the data to come in at a really affordable price. You get the trade alerts. Your trade alerts are built into Alpha AI itself with audio alerts, so you never have to watch your email or worry about the missing trade. This means you can trade stress-free. If you want to take a week off, just close it and reopen when you come back. It completely removes the guesswork. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week chat room. I'm in there all the time, where you'll be able to chat with other traders. You'll be able to interact with me. I am live there twice a week for live training. And we also do Thursday evenings as well. So
I hate to interrupt, but I have to. This is one of the things that I really, really like. I think that this adds a lot of value for your members. Not just being able to get in there and chat with you twice a week, but also to be able to chat with each other. Share in the victories. Share in the excitement. Learn from each other. I think there's a lot of value there, and I really like what you guys created with that.
Absolutely. But it is nice having a community to talk to when you're trading. I love it. I really enjoy interacting with the room.
Well, it's nice also, if you're someone that's new, coming into the group new, and you haven't really done it anymore, to get to talk to some people who have actually worked with the system, who have been investing with you for longer, and have seen how it works in real time.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the ability to customize the AI engine yourself so it looks the way you want. I wrote an Alpha AI Bible. We have a short squeeze course, and you're getting the guidance of me. I've been in this business for, going 24 and a half years now. And I'm going to help you get the absolute most out of it.
Well, that was something we were talking about, was that was part of your goal with designing and building this, was to basically take yourself and sort of put it into a package that could be automated, so that you can, like you said, go make a sandwich and still get a trade.
Yeah. I love trading so much that, I'm still sitting here on my screen talking to people and looking at the Alpha AI engine. Now, we've got some really cool bonuses in here. The Alpha AI Bootcamp. Now, we've got one in that's already recorded, but I am going to be recording a new bootcamp this month. So you're gonna discover the inner workings of Alpha AI. You're wondering, hey, how does Tripwire 1 fully work? How does Tripwire 2 fully work? Tripwire 3. I walk through all of that. So you're going to leave that boot camp as an Alpha AI expert. You'll know how to read the tripwires, winner trades, how to use some of the other features we didn't get into, like when to buy a stock versus when to buy options. There are specific times. You'll learn why the options Alpha AI projects are the best trade, a skill that will help you in all your other options trading. And it is available immediately. But again, we're going to have a new live one in just a couple of weeks. Again, you're going to get those Alpha AI head fakes. These are quality stocks to buy that are under $10 that I talked about. AREC went from 98 cents to $7.11. AISP, $2.47 to $5.52. RCAT, Red Cat, $2.65 to $5.20, and then eventually, $17. And then SMR, New Scale, went from $4.86 to $44. These are what I call trash to treasure.
Definitely.
And these are
Definitely.
investments that I'm making that you can join me in.
Very cool.
Yeah. And bonus 3 is advanced squeeze techniques. For those of you that are maybe a little more seasoned in option trading, we have a course on the art of the squeeze by trading both ways, as it pops, and then after it pops, they typically drop. Andrew Giovinazzi, my partner, teaches this class. It's a bonus master class where we teach you these advanced squeezing techniques to make two-way profits and timing the downside, so you get paid twice. If you were targeting 3 to 5x on your account in a year, these advanced squeezes will double that.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's exactly how I would trade these on the floor.
Well, and it sort of goes back to what you were saying, where, sometimes there are some stocks that are heavily shorted unfairly. There's
Yeah.
value to those stocks and people just don't see it there. But most of the time, these stocks are heavily shorted because the company doesn't have a lot of potential. And so, it is likely to after the short squeeze, basically after everybody's closed their short position, it's going to come back down. It's kind of like the opposite of everybody piling into a crowded, or everybody getting out of a crowded trade, where everybody's buying the same stock and then everybody's selling it at the same time. Here, it's everybody's buying it at the same time, but eventually that last dollar has gone in and the stock's going to go back to its actual fair value.
Yeah, which is usually much lower.
Yep, which is somewhere around where those shorts thought it was.
Yes. Bonus 4, and this is coming up, the Momentum Masterclass. LESE turned into 3 triple-digit wins as we rode on the momentum of its short squeeze. This live class will teach you when to close your full position and when to keep a flyer. Lower risk and you'll have lower risk and higher reward plays as the stock continues to get squeezed. And this is important. And I put this behind everything I do. With Alpha AI, we have a 14-day money-back guarantee to reverse your risk. If, and I mean for any reason you don't like Alpha AI and want a refund in the first 14 days of your membership, we'll process 100% cash back refund. There's no restocking fee. We're not taking out for credit cards. Give you all your money. You could be for any reason. You don't like the stock. You could say, Mark's got a stupid face. I don't care. We'll give you your money back.
That's tough. I hope nobody says Mark's got a stupid face.
Well, my older sister and brother did when I was a kid, but outside of that, I don't think a lot of people say that. All
right. Well, Mark's older sister and brother, you guys aren't allowed to subscribe if you're just going to cancel and say he's got a stupid face.
So yeah, and just to put in perspective to build this, you have my experience. It took me over 300 hours to develop and test the AI. We had to hire we had to pay $60,000 into the tech company to build it, and the option data feed on its own about $20,000 a month. Now we created this super targeted AI, so the data we don't have to pass through that kind of cost to you. That's one of the things I really like. So I would invite you to join. And you can click this link for our friends at Angel Publishing. You're going to get all of this, direct access to AI, live ongoing training, the audio alerts, the advanced notice trade alerts, 24/7 chat room, weekly live meetings with me, the Alpha AI Bible, the short squeeze course, the guidance of me, 24 years in the business. And at $59.99, an absolute steal. 1 quarter for $15.99, but I'm going to give everybody here at Angel a special price. $24.99 for a year, $9.99 for a quarter. And again, you're getting that direct access to Alpha AI, the ongoing data calculations that AI uses to generate that triple confirmation and trade recommendations, and all of that. Now, if you've got questions, you can call my team, 888-872-3301. But folks, for $24.99, this is an absolute steal.
Oh, it definitely sounds like a great deal. I mean, you're talking about around 60% off the regular price.
Mhm.
Plus, guarantee, money back guarantee there. So you've got 2 weeks to try this out, test the trades. You're talking about 2, 3 short squeezes a week, so there's potential that you could try 4 to 6 trades out, make money on all 4 of those trades, and then still decide that Mark's got a stupid face.
Yes, you can.
I mean, I feel like if I'm going to make money on all of those trades, I really don't care what your face looks like.
Exactly. And you only have to see
yeah.
my stupid face twice a week. So
Oh,
you're
there you
good
go.
there.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, it sounds really great. Something that I sort of wanted to go back to that you had mentioned before is that, a lot of people don't trade these short squeezes because they don't even know that they exist. But something that you and I talked about is that even folks who know that they exist, you're talking about 3 or 4 hours worth of math per
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah.
And people, humans just can't. I mean, humans can do it. We used to, but now that we've got AI, you're talking about like crunching those 3 hours per stock down to seconds or to milliseconds, and they can look at all of the stocks. So, I mean, it just, even the people who know that this exists, unless it happens on a particular stock that they decided to research, are going to miss it.
Yeah. I mean, if NFI was not in my pit, I never would have known it existed. I never would have traded it.
I mean, just think, you might not have gotten hooked on on trading these short squeezes, and we wouldn't be here talking if you hadn't been in that pit.
Yeah. I mean, who'd have thought that a cruddy subprime lender would be the gift that keeps on giving, but it really is. And that was the precipice behind me building this entire project and me building Alpha AI, and then wanting it to be accessible to anybody without needing me to tell them, well, now that it's squeezed, you buy this option. So we built the entire process into Alpha AI, from the squeeze might happen all the way through to this is the trade that Mark would take. And when it suggests a trade, the way we built that was me kind of laying out exactly how I decide what call option I want to buy on a short squeeze, and then we kind of built that directly into Alpha AI. And I'll tell you, when I look at a squeeze and then I look at Alpha AI, 95% of the time it is throwing out the exact option I would buy. And when it's not, it's usually my second choice. So that is how good this thing has gotten in terms of what it does. It is like many with AI, it is replacing me, which but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I built this to replace me.
That's the whole point. Now you can get more stuff done. You can come up with other strategies. I mean, shoot, you and Andrew are able to sort of work out a way to play the short squeezes both ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that class, for those of you that are a little more advanced, it is going to, you can merge that with Alpha AI, and it is going to change the way that you trade and permanently, and it may become the only strategy you run. It's that good. All right. Do we have any questions?
Wow. I see a comment here that he says, as a longtime Quaker, he hates to give a Wildcat a thumbs up, but on his first trade, Beyond paid him 331%. That's not bad on Beyond Meat.
That is not mad. That is not bad at all, Denmac. And we love you, Penn. I'm a big fan of the University of Pennsylvania, other than when we're in a Big Five matchup in basketball.
There you go. I definitely work with a few folks who went to Wharton, so I can be happy for you, Penn, too.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's awesome, Denmac. You made 331% in Beyond Meat.
That is
other
great.
questions?
Yeah.
Are there any sell alerts coming from Alpha AI? Not yet. That is that is coming. Right now, in addition to Alpha AI giving you the alert, I actually do put in physically alerts through our system. So it sends an email, it sends a text message, it sends a push notification if you're signed up for the entries and exits of the trades I take.
Mhm.
So if I take a trade, the process is I look at Alpha AI, I say, I like what it's showing me. I put out the notification. So in the case of LAES, I put out to buy the $6 call for 45 cents. I wait 5 minutes because that allows everybody that I've alerted time to enter the trade. Then I enter the trade. When I exit, same thing. I put out the alert. It comes to your email. It comes to your it comes through text. It comes through push. I wait 5 minutes and then I sell.
Okay. All right. So you're sending out these notifications before you even take an action there to sell. So giving everybody else a chance to get out first.
Yeah, if I'm going to do a trade, I don't ever want anybody to think I'm front running them. So I wait until I put out a trade. I wait and then I do it.
I appreciate
Usually it costs me some money. Every now and
Mhm.
again it works in my favor.
Mhm.
Walter wants to know what broker is suitable for this. I'm living in Europe. You can literally use any brokerage you want. I think Interactive Brokers is pretty popular in Europe. Yeah, so you could
Mhm.
use IB, but you can use whatever broker you want to use. And if it has access to American markets, then it'll work.
Gotcha. So as long as you've got options trading ability and access to U.S. markets, any broker is gonna work there. Do you guys, do you like the features of any particular broker? I know we recommend Interactive Brokers usually for folks that are outside of the U.S. just because they have good international markets access.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Um,
I use about 3 or 4 different brokers, frankly. I have, I help with my sister, the same sister that said I had a stupid face. I trade money for her. So
you're a good
she's one
brother.
place. I'm a good little brother.
You are.
She's one place. Then my own money is at Schwab and Fidelity. And then I've got money on Interactive Brokers, and I think that's it. So I use Interactive Brokers, I use Schwab, and I use Fidelity. The only, but really, Tradier. I use Option Hawk as well.
Oh, okay.
So, and then, but any broker will really good. Any broker will really work.
Right, just
Um,
didn't need the ability to trade options, access to US markets, because that's where these stocks are gonna be trading.
absolutely.
Gotcha. Sella wants to know, Sella wants to make sure that they can actually trade options before committing. So you give people a little bit of time to figure that out. And also, do you guys have, any sort of, obviously you're doing these trainings, you're helping people learn, this is educational.
Mm-hmm.
After going through the trainings, is that folks who have never traded options before,
You'll know
that's
exactly
basically going
what
to
to
give them
do.
the skills that they need to be able to get options trading certification from their broker.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have never traded an option before, start trading the stocks. Within a couple of weeks, I will have you up to speed to be able to trade options past that level 1 or level 2, whatever your broker classifies as being able to buy calls and being able to buy calls. You won't have an issue there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I don't. I'm just the CEO. I don't set how long these offers last. That's my sales team. So if you've got a question about that, what I invite you to do is give my team a call, 888-872-3301. And they can answer that for you. They'll be happy to help you out, Sella.
Gotcha. But that's definitely something to keep in mind. Those charts that Mark was showing us, those were not the charts of the option. He had the price that they bought and sold the options for marked on there, but those were the stock charts. So, all of those stocks that he was showing us, the stocks did go up. So, if you're not comfortable with doing the options yet, like Mark said, you can buy the stock. You're not going to see quite as big moves out of a stock as you are out of options, but you're still seeing these positive moves. You're still able to take home some gains.
Yeah, I mean, Beyond Meat, you would have been in for 78 cents and it topped out at over $6. That's pretty good. Any emails
Mm-hmm.
for non-US residents or WhatsApp chat number? Ping my team, Sella. They're in the chat. They'll tell you how to talk to them. Walter wants to know, how much time should I allocate per day for trading? That
That's a
is
good
up
question.
to you. You
Mhm.
know, the good news for you is when I'm not live, my trading screens are here and here. Basically, all I do is this and stare at screens. So you don't have to. But the nice thing with Alpha AI is that because of that audio alert, you can kind of be anywhere in your house, and you got your volume up. You'll hear it go.
Mhm.
So it can be minutes, or if you really, really love trading, it can be all day. It's really up to you. That's one of the
Gotcha.
beautiful things about trading. One of the things I really like is, when I'm going to go on a vacation, I shut down my positions and, go and have a nice vacation. Piece of advice. One piece I will call advice. If you're going on vacation, you already paid for vacation once. Close everything down because you don't want to end up paying for that vacation 3 or 4 times because something happens while you're out of town. Now, invariably that happens. Every professional trader has this like paranoia that as soon as they go on vacation, the market's going to collapse. But you know what I'm talking about, right, Jason?
No,
I
I
mean,
know
you're like,
exactly what you're
hey,
talking about. I will tell you in 2020, right? Late January, early February of 2020, I was in Cuba.
uh-huh.
I was on a trip to Cuba with my wife's aunt has a company that does tennis inspired trips. And
Okay.
so we were playing tennis with the Cuban national tennis team there. And when we got to Cuba, they were asking me, "Hey, have you been to Italy? Have you been to China? Have you been to Brazil?" Now, Brazil surprised me because when we took off from New York earlier that morning, Brazil wasn't on the list of COVID countries. It was just Italy
Mm.
and China. By the time we got to Cuba, Brazil was on the list. 3 days later, when we got back from Cuba, the entire world was locked down. Like we were lucky to get back into the United States, and the
That's
markets had just gone crazy. And I was in a country where you can't even log into your brokerage account without setting off OFAC warnings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
an interesting one. Like you said, everybody's got a story of that kind of thing happening. That's mine. I had positions on, and I was sitting at the airport in Havana, and I tried to pull up my Fidelity app, and I got locked out.
I mean, that makes sense. I
Yep,
mean,
yep. Got back to the U.S. Had to have a phone call with somebody who should never have known my name. The Office of Foreign what's an Office of Foreign something controls. But
oh,
basically,
wow.
yeah, they thought that I was like some sort of Cuban national trying to sneak around investment bans.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So definitely shut them down before you go on vacation, guys. It's not a vacation if you're still working.
It's not. And I've heard absolute horror stories where someone, goes on a nice week-long vacation, comes back and realize they lost 10 grand on bad trades that happened while they were gone. Take the
Yep.
money. Other questions for us?
Do you know about the
The
strike
daily
zone
SPY
trades?
option
I think.
trades. So, Game Plan, Vaz and I are very good for, she's married to a professional tennis player. Did you know that, Jason?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
Yes. Speaking
Oh,
of
I have to
tennis.
get them on one of these trips.
Yeah. So, Vaz and Game Plan is owned by Trade to Close LLC, which is a sister company of OptionPit. I do work very closely with Vaz. And she is, so we're not the same family, but we're first cousins. Let's call it that. We're very close.
Gotcha. Let's see.
So that looks good, but I'm 6 hours ahead, which means it is now 8 p.m. That means if a webinar takes place in the evening, most of the trainings are most of the live sessions are during the day. So I meet with
During
Alpha
US market hours. Yeah.
in US market hours. I like being with you guys in a live market. So Alpha AI meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:30 Eastern time. If you're 6 hours ahead of us, that's going to be 6:30. So you can have yourself a Walter. I don't know what country in Walter, but Walter, you can make yourself a sandwich, or you can eat a steak while I teach you how to trade this stuff.
It doesn't sound like a bad way to learn how to trade.
Hello. So this is the newest system that has not been released till now. We've been trading it. Alpha AI launched at the end of August, but this is definitely the first time we're bringing it to to you guys and Jason.
Here.
Yeah,
and
we only sold it. We only sold it internally until today.
Oh, that's exciting, guys. I didn't actually realize that we were the first group outside that had gotten to see what you built here. So that's even more exciting. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's
well,
great.
Hey, I say Jason Williams and Angel Publishing first, everyone else second. That's my motto.
That's how I go. That's my motto too. We have the same motto. It's such a small world, Mark.
It's crazy, right?
It is. It is. So that's really cool. So it sounds like, folks have, well, you do record these webinars also, though.
Yes,
the live trainings.
you record the
them,
webinars.
So if folks are more than 6 hours off. When I was at Morgan Stanley, we had to schedule some crazy meetings with London, New York, Singapore, all on the phone at the same time. So that meant some of us got up really, really early. Some of us stayed up really, really late.
Yeah, absolutely. And I put out a letter every day with where I answer questions. I give you what I'm watching for the next day. I do position updates on both our option trades and our stock trades, and I give you kind of an update of what happened that day and what I'm seeing in short squeeze markets as well. So you can watch the recordings. I send you an email every morning. I mean, you're going to have your hand held through this process.
Gotcha. And so Spider-Man had also asked there, which positions, is there something that shows which positions you personally take?
Yeah.
Or, are we sort of safe to assume that, you're trading all of these?
I trade just about all of them. Every now and again, shocker, I take days off. So there will be things that hit that I don't trade. But if I trade it, it is in our track record.
Okay.
If I trade it, it's in our track record.
Gotcha.
And I trade almost everything that pops on there. And you can actually see the trades. So the live tracker that we showed there is my trades, and you guys can see those as well. Just for clarification, is this 25% on top of the $24.99? What?
Oh, I think that's Ted T. One of the admins had said that for first-time buyers who call in, that you'll offer a 25% discount.
Ted, how dare he didn't clear that with me? It sounds like it. It sounds like it. So, but I'm guessing that's just today. That additional 25% is just today because Ted is going to get a talking to tomorrow. So. That is just for today for members of Angel Publishing. Very excited. So Sella, take advantage of that.
I highly recommend it, you guys. And you've got 2 weeks to try it out to figure out if it's really for you. And they've got that full money back guarantee there, which is
Absolutely.
awesome. It doesn't seem like anybody's going to want their money back after seeing what Mark's been able to accomplish, but it's there. Shows the confidence that they have in the system.
Absolutely. We want you to be, I want you guys to be 100% confident and secure in what you're purchasing. And I'm happy to put a couple of weeks behind, 2 weeks of money back guarantee behind it. All right. Any more questions for me or Jason? Dubs.
Dubs, that's right. That's a nickname that's just followed me.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I do like this your AI Bible study. That's pretty neat. You know, and there's definitely a lot to learn, you know, about
Absolutely.
the AI and the machine learning and the systems and how they work and just, you know, how fast they're able to process things. I think that's really what makes this system, you know, super powerful is that, you know, if you're doing it yourself, then you're spending 3 hours on a stock. There's no short squeeze there. Let's pick another stock, 3 more hours. You know, this can just compress all of that down to instantaneous and shoot you out these alerts and I love it. You know, we had the question of how much time should I dedicate, and it's really up to you. You know,
Yeah.
if you really like sitting there and like waiting for the alerts to pop up, watching the charts, watching, you know, the things move in real time, then hey, spend all day. But you know, if you've got other things to do, then just turn the volume up on your computer, stay within earshot, and when you when a new trade comes out, you're gonna know.
Absolutely. Like I said, I built this system and I built the technology so that you don't need me, but I'm here to get you to the point where you don't need me. And if you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. Really, there's not a lot of risk here. So click the link, join us. Or if you've got questions, give my team a call, 888-872-3301, or shoot us an email, support@optionpit.com. All right. Jason,
Yeah.
thanks for hosting me.
Yeah,
I
no
appreciate
problem,
it.
Mark. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you like sharing all of this with everybody. It was great to talk to you. You know,
Absolutely.
get to hear about your background and share some personal stories together also.
Yeah, absolutely. This was fun.
All right, excellent. Well, I look forward to it. Maybe we can do this another time. And everybody, definitely, this is something. It seems like a really good deal. You know, like we said, 60% off already, plus an extra 25% off for those who call in today. Mark's not too happy about that, but you know, let's see how big of a discount we can make him take by having everybody call in today and getting that extra 25%.
All right.
We've got Stella's going to send an email into Ted. Ted, keep your eyes out, bud.
All right. We're watching for it, Sella.
I love it. I like it. So everybody, the phone number again, 888-872-3301. You know, call in, get that extra 25% off. If you've got any questions, get your questions answered, and then get that extra 25% off. Click the link in the room there up at the top of your window there, the join here. I think it's just when I mentioned it, it moved around a little bit. I love that. Makes me feel like I have some AI powers.
Oh, there.
Up there. There it is. Yep. But yeah, I think it's a great deal, you guys. I highly recommend taking advantage of this and you know, using Mark's strategy to help automate your trading.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Have a great day. And again, thanks for hosting me, Jason.
No problem, Mark. Thanks again for being here. I really hope that you see a lot of our names on your list. You're definitely going to see mine.
All right. Sounds awesome.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks all of you for showing up and giving us a